to both Lindsay, Christian, and I. Our guest of honor, obviously, Phil, as we send him off into the sunset for another day weekend. I don't know really way of working his life. None of us are jealous, especially me. I know I'm not. But I'm going to win this. Well, wish me luck. A lot of you came from far away, and have made us drive, and have been stuck in traffic. And if you live in Miami, you're stuck in traffic. So, thank you very much for allowing Lindsay, Christian, and I to honor Phil and his legacy as he goes into his retirement. So, I didn't write everything down, guys. I'll be very, very honest. I'm still trying to keep my shoe on it too. So, I'm going to bring this. The kids and I wanted to make sure that we acknowledge everything you've done. And what we'd try to do this evening is have a couple of individuals who have been part of Phil's legacy, if you will, in your career. Come up and share some words with us, all your great accomplishments that you have had. Phil will tell you that he's had a 37-year career. I've been a part of it for 24, almost 25 years of it, which sounds almost impossible. But I have, and I can only say that I've been a witness to a tremendous man who has navigated a career so amazing. I am so proud. He has faced some adversities. His girlfriends are all here this evening with us, and thank you all. I've seen the ups and downs that Philip has gone through, and at every turn, Phil just gets up, does his speed, his knees on, and he just goes on forward and makes it happen for us. So I'm very proud of that. That is one of the things that I constantly tell both Lindsay and Christian, probably ad nauseum. Please get that characteristic trait from your father. That tenacity that you have is unwavering tenacity. It's so amazing. It's something that I truly, truly admire about you. That has made that legacy that you have, that you're saying goodbye to. Way too soon. But that and his ability to form relationships is something I'm really, really proud of you. And you've done. This evening, if you look around, you are going to see individuals and meet individuals that are lifelong friends. His family, obviously, his siblings are here to support him, as they have done throughout his entire life. So thank you for that. But you will also see people that were once colleagues, and because of his ability with relationships, have become friends, and in some form have become our friends. So what I'd like to do this evening, though, is we have selected a couple of individuals that I think really represent the legacy that you're leaving behind as in your career. We've asked a couple of individuals to come to us. It's not a champagne. You're going to hear Phil, basically, you're going to hear from a couple of people that I think are very special in your life. They're very special to us in our lives. One of the individuals, obviously, is someone that we believe you've been a very strong role model for. He has a very successful career of his own now. But as far as I can remember, since I've met this individual, he's come to you for guidance. And I think we'd like to hear from him because it was Phil's guidance and obviously this individual's great output that have made him very successful to this day in his career. So we're also going to hear from an individual that started out as a colleague in the industry with Phil almost 30 years ago. Plus. And Phil would tell you, as many of you are part of some of those individuals, that you don't stay a colleague with Phil and you don't stay a customer with Phil. You become a friend with Phil.
Amen.
Right? So this particular individual that we're going to hear from started out as a colleague, became a very good friend with him, is a very intelligent human being that knew that he had to set him up on a blind date with me. So, he's just wonderful for us. Yeah. So that friendship, and in a different parallel world, was my friendship with him, put us together, but we've gone through a lot. His beautiful daughter is our goddaughter. So he is no longer a friend, he's no longer a colleague, he's just named. Done. We're also going to hear from an individual that obviously met Phil, got to know Phil, got to know Phil's skill sets in the industry, and decided to put his faith in us and trust us, and invested in Phil as we started ACRS. So we're going to hear from him, and we can't thank you enough. So I'm just going to do it again. We can't thank you enough because it was ACRS that allowed Phil to ultimately fulfill his lifetime goal in a career, which is the career that he's retiring from. Phil will tell you that he achieved his goal, and I don't think any of us in here would not want anything else for ourselves and for him to achieve those goals that he set out to do. And the last person we're going to listen and hear from is not in the industry. He's not a colleague, but he's a lifetime friend, as many of you are here. But he has been with Phil from childhood, so he has been able to witness with him his college days, well, his high school days, his college days, but the middle school. This individual has been with Phil in his ups and downs, has been very supportive when we were down and needed some guidance, and he was that shoulder he could talk to. And Leon, he's the one that's been cheering on in our successes. So there's no one better that we could identify to just wrap this baby up for us and bookcase it for us and toast Phil. So thank you all. But right now, the apples of his eyes, the reason why Phil has done everything he has done, the tenacity that he has put, the fact that Phil, I have never needed anything, wanted anything, because he made sure we had it all. So thank you for that. And I'm interested, I've already met them, but there are pride and joy. Lindsay and Christian would like to say a few words.
Can everyone hear me? Yeah, you go, girl. Our entire lives, our dad has lived the example of what it means to work hard. And that work ethic extends to every aspect of his life. Clearly, by the amount of people that are here to support him, he's cared about very deeply. My dad has an incredible ability to connect with people, and those connections have carried him very far in life. That's one significant lesson that he has taught his kids. Tend to your relationships. Put in that effort, and that effort will be rewarded. And my dad has been rewarded, evidenced by the fact that he is seemingly always enjoying some high-end, VIP, exclusive activity paired with some fine wine. My dad now gets to sit back and enjoy the fruits of his labor. In his retirement, I anticipate that he will be calling his children at least once per day, running along various bodies of water, texting his children horrible selfies of him running, talking about how many miles he ran that week, annoying the staff at the local juice shop, driving his wife insane, and expanding his wine collection. And speaking of his wife, my dad has allowed us a couple seconds to speak about an individual other than himself. So with this 30 seconds, I get to speak about Margaret. His backbone and a huge portion of the reason that my dad was able to build his business and his relationships to allow him to retire this year. Margaret's patience, her wisdom, emotional intelligence, which are some of her best qualities, have guided my dad to the success that he's experienced this year. And I think he would agree that he could not have done it without Margaret. You go, girl.
I gotta give her a hug. That is absolute truth.
Okay, so I took care of something. So there's the saying that for all men, we all become an image of our fathers. I'm not too sure if it's true, but recently I started noticing things I never used to see. There was a time in my life where I would have given up on something. 2 or 3 failures in any task, any reasonable person starts to question the futility of what they're doing. But growing up, I watched my father. I watched him win, I watched him stumble, I watched him fall. But he was persistent, extremely so. The most impressively persistent and optimistic person I've ever seen. Even when I was mad at him, enraged by some idea or some politics I disagreed with, he bled into my subconscious. His relentless optimism helped set the foundation for my personality today. And as I continue to grow, as I work harder than I ever have to become an engineer, I begin to feel it more and more. It's the sensation that the speed bump that I'm encountering now isn't the end. That every failure is recoverable, and every setback is only temporary. Even if at the time I never acknowledged it, and I was disobedient, and I was unruly, at times, I will always be incredibly thankful for my dad, and the seeds of persistence and confidence and perseverance that he sows and gives to everyone around him.
My name's Michael. I surprisingly struggled with what I was going to say. I know that surprises some. It's not because I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to leave out. But I wasn't given that marker 30 seconds, so I'm going to take it. The record is I tried to work with Margaret first. And I put a hell of an offer out there for $10 an hour, and she wouldn't take it. So I got billed, and then I got to work with her. Together we meet tonight to celebrate the career and retirement of a great man, Phil Stephen Grupp. I would like to present you a humble man with extremely high character. I personally like to describe him as someone who always has a touch of kindness. He represents the type of person that most of us can only strive to be. An ever-doting husband, father, brother, son-in-law, and dear friend. He really can be described as a friend of the friendless. It's true. I want to go into all these tangents about tell you what it was like when you talk about meeting mommy and poppy, or the duffel bag when Leslie was 4 years old, toys. I mean, it's bigger than home. And he was carrying on a plane in the middle of the winter to go to Chicago just to be in the middle of a courtyard. With every dime he had, it was a tough time in his life. But I'm told I'm not supposed to share on the downsides. If you know Phil, you know what a workaholic he is. I'm sorry, he's a driven man. He never misses his vacation with his son. Never. Phil is unbiased in nature. He ultimately lends a hand or an ear whenever necessary to any cause of concern. He never asks anything in return. Phil's always smiling and cheerful. His attitude is literally contagious. Among all, you know it. You know that's the truth. He walks in a room, that smile. It's like, personally, I stand before you as a changed man. I met Phil 30 years ago. We quickly became friends, which ultimately led myself to where I stand right here today. He's godfather of my daughter, Uncle Phil to my other children. He was placed, and this is big, he was placed in the highest trust in my family at the very beginning. See, that led to beautiful and wonderful experiences with my children. I mean, grace, and I mean grace with a lifetime friendship. I believe Phil Excuse me. At the conclusion of all our conversations, we begin to discuss joy or pain. I'm always left with a feeling of gratitude. I really am in a wonderful relationship. Now, I believe what Phil might share with someone starting earlier in their career, maybe two important things. Played with a couple people like that, golfed with them yesterday. The favorite of the family. And the boyfriend. And by the way, Sam, if you look at that phone while I'm talking, you better give me the score. The things I would think Phil says, be passionate about what you do. The cliche of do something you like, that's crap. We all have to, times we suffer, but when you're passionate about what you do, it's everything. The second thing is trying to make a difference in this world. And, you know, I could spend an hour talking about the ripple effects of this man right here, and they're true. I have seen a ripple effect of Phil's. I have. I could talk to any one of you, talk many, many stories. I would like to congratulate Phil on a wonderful career and wish him the best in retirement.
Amen.
Come on.
And I'm honored and privileged here to stand before one of my idols, one of my guys that I look up to, not only as as my uncle, but also as his business acumen that has helped me.
Get close.
That has helped me build my own successful business, and still a guy that I consider my mentor.
Yeah, go ahead.
So tonight I've been gifted with the privilege to say a few kind words amongst you all regarding my uncle. As an astute businessman, but also as an amazing person, and in my opinion, has dedicated just as much time and hard work to making sure his amazing family was always provided and taken care of. Excellent job, Phil. Mission accomplished. I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up the fact that he certainly didn't hurt to have Margaret as his back. My Uncle Philip is a go-getter. He has always had a healthy, competitive nature, which is instilled in me by playing sports and other games since we were small kids. Since I was a small child. Now, please consider my uncle has 12 years on me, so of course I'm far too young to report on his formative years, but my formative years, he had a great influence on my life. He always took the time. From whatever we were doing when he was in college, he would always come home on his breaks, stay with us, take me to the arcades, go jet skiing, do all these fun things. He even encouraged me during one of our games of stoop ball to pick up, and there was this girl looking at us and go on my first date. I talked to her, and then he actually took me on the first date with me.
My job.
So over the years, we engaged in competitions, unbelievable. So I'm really appreciative of all the things that we've done together. As I got older, took the time. Excuse me. I remember later in life and after college, like starting my own business, always being able to come back to Uncle Phil and ask him what he thought about this. And some of the things that he would tell me, and it's true, you just gotta stay the course. Nobody skips a step in life. It takes 10 years to become an overnight success, and just keep working at it. And he always was there for me. He always had that ear. He always would listen and give good advice. And for that, I admire and I love my Uncle Phil.
admired with Phil is things that we all know about him. One of the nicest human beings you'll ever meet. Honest, ethical, hardworking, loyal. One of the, from a business standpoint, us being friends and partners, one of the best individuals I've ever met in my entire life. We all know him. So now's where things are going to change just a little. There are times in everyone's life when you have an event, something that occurs, and you will remember it forever. I remember my first date and my first kiss with my wife 33 plus years ago. I remember the birth of all 3 of my children. I remember exactly where I was standing at the moment when the first plane hit the tower on 9/11. I have certain things I remember about certain people, if the event was important to me. I have 4 with Phil. We're going to go through 3 of the 4. The first one was the very first night when I met Phil Grupp. I don't know if he remembers this. Michael Walden remembers this.
Michael.
Phil is going to assume I'm going to tell the whole story, but I can't. 25, 26, 27 years ago, we were at Fozzie, at the Ritz-Carlton in Naples. About 10, 11 o'clock at night, there were 5 or 6 of us on the couches at the Ritz-Carlton. Phil was not there. This was in the lobby. And there were 2 or 3 people that were in robes for some reason, or slippers on the couch, and we were talking. I don't know who they were or why they were. But we were watching a lot of the extremely high-priced ladies of the evening talk. And then we were all trying to figure out which room they were going to. The conversation took a turn.
Kids, cover your ears.
Phil, no. Phil did not arrive yet. The conversation then somehow turned to men's prisons and things that potentially occur in a men's prison. About that time, Phil sits down, and then the conversation goes to a particular event and something that can take place. And the 4 or 5 of us have this horrific look on our face. And Phil's sitting there going, that didn't sound so bad.
I'm not even sure I know what it was.
I can't tell you.
I know now.
And the horrific look turned to Phil, and Phil's going, what? So we explained to him that this particular thing happens in men's prisons. We started to laugh because of the smile on Phil's face turned into complete horror when he realized what he has done. This was 25 plus years ago. I remember it as it happened 30 seconds ago.
That's only one?
That's one. The second was when Phil came to interview with me for a job working at my company, and before I hired him, we had a client that called about asking me to help them with the negotiation on a hospital bill, which made no sense. And Phil sitting across from me, like poor chef. And so I can help with this. So I remember that because that was the start of me hiring Phil coming to work for my company, and us starting hospital negotiations. The third event.
That was easy.
The second was easy. The third event. The third event occurred about 8, 9 years ago or so, and every January, right about this time, we did a company retreat. And during this particular retreat, it was a very rainy season, and some of the guys wanted to go for a hike. And I said, boys, don't do this. I've hiked Kilimanjaro, hiked Mount Whitney, I do a lot of outdoor things. And I said, my wife and I did this hike over the summer. It was the scariest 2.2 miles to get to the top I've ever experienced in my life in any hike. Don't do this. And it was dry. They decided to go anyway. I said, okay. I got to try it else. Not me, I wasn't there. But my phone rings. I'm on the beach with another one of our co-workers, Lemon Shardy at the time, and the phone rings, and it is the most horrifying, desperate, scary sounding Phil Grupp I've ever heard in my life. And Phil says, Scott, you gotta make me a promise. If I don't survive this, if I die, you gotta take care of my family. I told him not to go. He's with one of my best friends. Rob hands me the phone. He hands Rob the phone. I said, Rob, what the hell happened? He goes, he almost went over the side. I grabbed him at the last minute and pulled him up, and he's freaking out. I said, calm him down. He will make this.
It's an 800-foot drop.
That was the third event. The fourth event just happened 30 days ago. If you all will take out your phones and go to YouTube. If you will take out your phones, and go to YouTube and type in 3 words, run, away, suitcase. Phil was.
I knew that was.
Run away. Like damn straight I posted it. If you type in runaway suitcase, Sean, help people find it. Okay. So I'm sorry, runaway luggage, not suitcase. Runaway luggage. Phil comes to my house, have a house right outside of Park City, Utah, and every year in December. It's a driveway.
It's not a normal drive.
So this is it here. This is the fourth event. Okay. So Phil comes to my house every year in December for the last 13, 14 years, and we go skiing. So Phil's leaving on December 23rd, and goes in the car, puts his suitcase, doesn't pay any attention to it, goes down the driveway, down the hill, down the other driveway, down to the embankment, and it went from 2 miles an hour to 5 miles an hour to 24 miles an hour. It just kept going. And it is on YouTube. So, 4 events in my life that I've experienced with Phil that I'll never forget. When the owner of Care Risk came to us 2 years ago and asked if we were interested in selling the company, and we were negotiating with them, they came to me and they said, Scott, you're the CEO of the company, would you like to stay with the company? And I went, nope. You don't want me, you don't need me, I can't help you. The only person who is Phil, and everybody else was inside the company. Phil was the main reason for that business. I had some administrative roles, but if it wasn't for Phil, we wouldn't have had a company. The hardest working, most loyal, most ethical human being I've ever met. One of my dear closest friends, regardless of the fact that he almost died on a cliff, regardless of the fact that we had this conversation about men's prison, and his inability to keep back the suitcase. But y'all are here for one reason, and that's for your friendship and your love of Phil Grupp. Going on and on about what he meant to our business, what he meant to my company. Those are things that everybody already knows. So, I love you. I'm glad we've been friends for 25 years. You all have work to screw up, just so you know. Okay? Your family to me, you're not yet.
Okay, so you know the deal. Phil's been planning this amazing party, and by the way, it has been an amazing party. Thanks to everybody that showed up tonight. Really appreciate it. To honor literally my best and longest friend, Phil. I met Phil, actually, as it so happened, 50 years ago this month. I was not a really good student. I was in public school in 7th grade, didn't really do a good job at that. So my parents moved me to a private school right after the holidays. I walk in a homeroom, this geeky dude named Phil welcomed me, geeky guy that I was back then, probably still am. And at the first we were really close friends, but over the years through our teen years that really evolved. And more than a friend, Phil has been a brother. I'm an only child, and this guy is the closest thing that I will ever have to a brother. Appreciate everybody that showed up tonight. So he wanted a roast. I said, I really want to be roasted, but I can't do that because I love this guy like a brother. His godfather of Michelle and I. Well, that was the other thing. I realized that there's a lot of work people here, and I thought to myself, I can't share 99%. Nor would I share if it was a bunch of guys hanging out in the bar. So, but, you know, being a typical red-blooded sort of boomer, I thought to myself, this really has to be a special speech because I'm honoring this guy that I've known for 50 years. He was literally like family to me. So I did what anybody would, right? I went to ChatGPT and I Googled, tell me about Philip Grupp. Okay, so here's the weird part. You know what I got?
Nothing.
I got 3 sentences. 3 sentences. And it was literally the about us description on ACRS. And underneath that was a line that said, he is also present on Instagram and Facebook, but has few posts and little to no activity. You're all laughing, but it makes, it resonated with me. It hit me like a ton of bricks. The reason why I love this guy is because the internet's nothing for him. This guy is all about being in the moment and being present.
Phone call.
This guy has guided me through some of the hardest times of my life. I mean, like when I was at the lowest points of my life, I could call this guy. I know he's got a degree in counseling. I would not recommend him as like a formal counselor. On a personal level, I'm a counselor. He's the guy. He is the guy.
Yeah.
So it's like bizarre, right? Because think about it, it's 2025, you go on the internet, you Google anybody in the room, you got pages of crap, right? All this stuff. Phil Grupp's got 3 sentences and a byline. He's an exceptional listener. You can't hear for shit. But he's an exceptional listener. Right? You know that. And you've heard about it, right? Everybody in this room has said connections. You know, being there in the moment, mindfulness is very demure, very mindful. I don't know about that, but anyway. The point is, he's always there in the moment, and he's always been there in the moment for me. And, you know, I would be remiss.
I got a lot more time on my hands.
And I'd be remiss not to mention the incredible job that he's done with both Lindsay and Christian, just two incredible people. And Scott, we don't know each other very well. I've met you a couple times, but I know a lot about you, and it's all positive. And I can say that actually about everybody in this room, because to know Phil, anytime Phil talks about somebody, it's always positive, right? He always finds the good in people. He always finds the positive in people. There's a few people that piss him off along the way. Me being on a few occasions, am I right? Yeah, but anyway, so, you know, a lot of people have talked about his tenacity, about his determination. Clearly, we're here to honor his successes on a professional level. But I just wanted to share with you that, you know, I'm a corporate stooge, right? Like, I cannot imagine running a business. This guy hasn't run one business. He's run, I believe, three businesses, excuse me. And the first two, he had to fold up shop. But every single time, he dusted himself off, he stood up, and he did it again. And look what we got now. So, anyways, long and the short of it is, thanks everybody for coming. I love this guy like a brother. And the fact that you are all here tells me, even though I don't know most of you, but because you're friends and colleagues of Phil, and you're honored to be here and honoring him with your presence, I know you have to be awesome people. So, we're just going to raise a glass. Let's build Phil. And already. I left out the best part. I'm sorry, I have to say this. Margaret has been there every step of the way for the last 24 years. And I gotta tell, I love Margaret, but the best thing that she's done, look at this guy. Look at this wardrobe. 24 years ago, this guy dressed like I do. And she's done nothing else. She's taught us all kidding aside, here's the Phil, here's the Margaret.